All right, so Notre Dame goes out there. They hire Chris Ash as a defensive coordinator. So very, very interesting move. They have to replace Al Golden. Al Golden goes to the – Al Golden's going to go all the way to the National Football League, to the Cincinnati Bengals. Chris Ash is from Iowa originally. He spent a lot of time he was a head coach at Rutgers really before Greg Schiano, I believe, was there. Was a defensive coordinator 2013, maybe with, looks like he was with Bret Beilema for quite some time here in the early 2010s. Then he was at Rutgers, and his coaching record at Rutgers was, poor. Wow, it's abysmal. He went 8-32, unfortunately, at Rutgers. That's really, sad. 1-11. However, he was Ohio State. He was a co-defensive coordinator. So I wonder if he knows Marcus Freeman from 2014 Ohio State. Then he was at Texas with Tom Herman throughout this time period. Then he spent some time in the NFL, and boy, oh boy, as a scout for the Jaguars, as a defensive backs coach. So I look at this hire, and unfortunately, he hasn't called defense in 5 years. And that seems to be different than Al Golden, who seemed to be more calling plays all the time. And it's certainly different than Mike Denbrock, who was down at LSU with Brian Kelly, and who reinvented himself, with the year of Jaden Daniels and that unbelievable offensive team that they had really with Denbrock. So Chris Ash seems like a hire out of left field. He really does. And this could end up tanking Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to have an easier schedule, but their defense with Al Golden was just so buttoned up, just so impressive, everybody fitting their gaps, that even with a new coach, it's going to take time. But I'm surprised that Notre Dame didn't open up the pocketbook and try to hire like Phil Parker from Iowa, who's the best defensive coordinator in the whole game. Or they could have went out there and looked at Kansas State staff, like look at Chris Kleiman's defense. They didn't go out there, and they were trying to get Jim Knowles, who is the best defensive coordinator probably in the whole sport. But also they didn't look at even a Ryan Walters, who was a really good defensive coordinator for Illinois. They didn't even try to get Aaron Henry, who I believe is at Illinois, or Joe Rossi. So I'm not really loving this Chris Ash hire at all, because he wasn't that great as a head coach. He was at Texas just as an analyst. He was in the NFL doing a bunch of things miscellaneously. He bounces around from job to job. So this is such a hire that's so just out of left field, Chris Ash, that I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. But Marcus Freeman has earned all the right to do what he wants to do. He is probably, if you looked at the best coaches in college football, he's probably in the top 3 or the top 4 easily for what he did this year, for beating Georgia, for beating USC, for beating Texas A&M on the road. Mike Denbrock's still a brilliant coordinator, so he gets the benefit of the doubt because he runs a really good program. But in isolation, is this a hire that I personally like or get excited about? No. That is the honest answer here to this Chris Ash hire. All right, and it's going to be interesting to see how it works. And if it goes better, I'll say, wow, it's going a lot better than I anticipated. Now, there's a lot of people on this staff that are going to help out. He just hasn't done it in quite a while. So maybe he has a brilliant eye for talent. So we're going to see. That's I guess the point of all these videos, but I don't think it's going to go that well. So we're going to predict how things are going to go. I don't think it's going to go well at Notre Dame for Chris Ash.